by pulling the troops before getting these Americans who are now stranded. Does he have a sense of that?
First of all, I think it's irresponsible to say Americans are stranded. They are not. We are committed to bringing Americans who want to come home, to return home.
There are no Americans stranded is the White House's official position on what's happening in Afghanistan right now.
I'm just calling you out for saying that we are stranding Americans in Afghanistan when we have been very clear that we are not leaving Americans who want to return home. We are going to bring them home.
By pulling the troops before getting these Americans who are now stranded. Does he have a sense of that?
First of all, I think it's irresponsible to say Americans are stranded. They are not. We are committed to bringing Americans who want to come home, to return home.
There are no Americans stranded is the White House's official position on what's happening in Afghanistan right now.
I'm just calling you out for saying that we are stranding Americans in Afghanistan when we have been very clear that we are not leaving Americans who want to return home. We are going to bring them home.
Thank you, Jen. The president is saying now, God willing, the FDA is going to be coming out in a reasonable time frame to say this vaccine is totally safe. What is the holdup in nominating someone to run the FDA after more than 200 days in office?
I know it's like 204 at this point in time. Certainly, I will say, and the president was asked this question yesterday, that he wants to name someone who's qualified, who's ready to lead the FDA. It is a priority for him. He's also not going to take a step to put forward a nominee before he's found exactly the right person. I will note that it is a place that is filled with talented, experienced scientists, data experts, career staff who are certainly running the FDA effectively.
And I want you to pay very close attention to her answer, or should I say her total non-answer. Check this out.
Why do vaccinated people need to put the masks back on?
Well, Peter, first of all, I would say again, just to go back to this chart, which I will handily point to again, if you were vaccinated, it can save your life. And I think the clear data shows that this pandemic is killing, is hospitalizing, is making people very sick who are not vaccinated. That still continues to be the case, regardless of what the mask guidance looks like.
The vaccines work, which this sign says that they do. Then why do people who have had the vaccine need to now wear masks, the same as people who have not had it?
Because the public health leaders in our administration have made the determination based on data that that is a way to make sure they're protected, their loved ones are protected, and that's an extra step given the transmissibility. 97% of hospitalizations are with people who are unvaccinated. That remains the case.
Quick follow-up. So the 97% number, so the CDC said that is from January to April. So that's a bit of an outdated number when you look at how many people have been vaccinated since then and the Delta variant. So why isn't there any more updated information coming from the CDC about what the risk is now to people who are vaccinated?
I can certainly see what their cycles of data is. We rely on data across the country. We don't rely on individual anecdotal cases that are reported because sometimes they scare the public without being based on broad swaths of information.
Confirmed today there's been a breakthrough case.
Yep.
But you're also confirming there have been other breakthrough cases.
Yep.
But you had not previously disclosed that there had been.
And that's correct. We had also committed during the transition that I think there's hundreds, thousands of people who work in the federal government, as you all know, and we had committed during the transition that if it was a commissioned officer, who are the highest level ranking people in the White House and in this building here, that we would make that information publicly available. We stand by that commitment.
So if it's anyone below that, you don't feel the need to let people know?
Well, again, that's the commitment we made. I'm here talking to all of you today and sharing with you information about the individual who received a positive test yesterday.
Just one more. Sorry, excuse me, just one more. Okay, about the science evolving. Facebook used to block people from posting that COVID may have originated for a lab. That is something this president now admits is a possibility. So, is there any concern that things you are trying to block or have taken down might someday turn out to be...
We don't take anything down. We don't block anything. Facebook and any private sector company makes decisions about what information should be on their platform. There's a lower uptick of vaccination. Go ahead.
Thanks. I think there's a fly on your head.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you, guys. At least it's not a cicada. I swear, those things are...
Okay, but I do have actual questions.
As it relates to the border right now, we heard from the Vice President yesterday where her message was very simple and blunt. She said to those migrants who would be considering coming, she said, do not come. Obviously, there's some progressive Democrats, among other critics, who've been frustrated by that. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, perhaps most prominently, saying it was disappointing to see, she said, among other things, that seeking asylum at any U.S. border is a 100% legal method of arrival. What does the White House say to those progressive Democrats, among others, who are frustrated by the message the White House is delivering?
Well, first, of course it is. And one of our focuses and the priorities of the president and the vice president is to improve asylum processing at the border, to work with a range of Democrats and hopefully Republicans, because in history it's been a bipartisan effort to get immigration reform passed.